Welcome to Simple Scotch Reviews. Here we have Glenrothes, the Whiskey Maker's Cut. It's a single malt Scotch whiskey without an age statement. It's bottled at 48.8% ABV. So on the nose, there's a lot of sherry influence. There's a lot of that sherry fruit, that thick red fruit, raisiny, plum. I also get a earthy smoke element in the background. The alcohol is apparent on the nose as well. So the palate of this whiskey, to me, I much prefer the initial entry. So the initial entry to this whiskey is just a really nice, lovely sherry, thick sherry influence. Those raisin, there's plum notes in there. Just lots of thick, rich fruit notes. And lots of baking spice. Do I get that in the nose? Yeah, there's a bit of baking spice in there. I hadn't noticed it first until I had a sip. But in the palate, there's baking spice along with that thick sherry influence. But then, as you move towards the back end of the palate, to me, there's a bitterness that shows up, and it's probably from that smokiness that I sensed in the nose. I have nothing against any kind of peat or smokiness, but in this one, and there's just a bitterness that shows up in the palate that I don't really enjoy. As I was going through this whiskey prior to the review, I noticed that when I added water, this bitterness and earthy note went away from the back end of the palate. It didn't go away entirely, but it made it much more subdued compared to drinking it neat. I think it opened up other flavors as well, so my recommendation is certainly to add water. Play around with how much water you add. Don't just, pour way too much in and ruin the glass. The finish is slightly earthy, much less so when you add water. And then the baking spice lingers along with that. It really is nice sherry on the initial part of the palate. It's unfortunate that the palate took the backwards twist that I didn't enjoy so much, but when I add water, I do enjoy it more. It's a good sherry flavor. It's just that, to me, the bitterness that comes up prevents it from becoming a really good whiskey. Overall, I'd say not bad. I would definitely not recommend it after trying it neat, but when it opens up and you put some water in it, it does become a good whiskey. The price is a bit high for what it is, I think. I know it's a higher ABV, but I think the price is a bit high for where it should fit in the market in my eyes, so I wouldn't recommend it for that reason. It is good sherry flavor, and I didn't think that the bitterness was going to be as much of an issue from the nose, but then once I drank a bit of it neat, the palate, I wasn't a big fan of the bitterness. But I will say that, yeah, it becomes much, much better as you add water. And when you do add water, I can say it's worth trying, but I would put this in that try before you buy category. Especially try with a little water, because I think that makes it much better, but I'd say try before buy. I wouldn't recommend everyone go out and get it that watches this. I'd say try before you buy if you can. I know bar selections are different everywhere, and that might not necessarily be an option, but I would feel much more comfortable about this one if you try before you buy. I wouldn't recommend just everyone go out and get it, but that's my take, and check out my channel for all the whiskey reviews. There's more coming up all the time. Subscribe to get those as soon as they come up, and you can get notified as well of when they come up. It's just a good sherry. It is much more pleasant when you add water. Check out my videos. Subscribe to get the new videos when they come out. There's going to be more coming out soon, and thanks for watching.